Hello, how's it going? Good.
All right, I will call the meeting to order. It's agenda date, time, and location were properly announced. Thank you for coming tonight. We will start with the approval of the minutes of the July 17th, 2023 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
I'll second.
Rini, any questions or discussion? Corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills, is there a motion to approve for the month of July, the amount of $672,389.02?
I make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the cash summary?
I didn't get any questions. If anybody emailed me today, I apologize. It was the first day in service, so if there were any questions, I didn't get to them. But as far as the cash summary, I just wanted to show you, highlight the career furniture grant, and just let you know we're moving forward with working with Woodgenics locally. They've been fantastic, and we're kind of designing our own furniture for us. So we're slowly going to be starting to order here, even during pre-session this week. The other one I wanted to show you is the transportation revenue that this last month we made $3,200. Rachel has been helping Northern Ozaki with training them and getting some bus drivers. They've purchased a couple buses and are kind of slowly doing some things to help with their piece. And we are actually transporting different schools and things and getting reimbursed for that. So now we got a little side hustle as a district of making money, having our staff and our expertise out there. So just kind of a fun little piece that we're doing.
Did we have, with the career furniture grant, was there another grant for furniture too?
So this is the matching, so we took 250 from our referendum and matched it with this 250, so this would be $500,000. And it will do everything we need in elementary and middle school. So we'll be looking at doing something like this again in 2 years when we get to the high school piece. So it's a high school in all the general areas, for library and things like that. So, we're hopeful that, we'll be able to, they like to match things. So by having that and being able to double up, that's something we'll be looking at doing in the future. And then we'll design all that with our friends over at Woodgenics. And hopefully we have a really nice little partnership there where as we need things, they have the data on what we need. They can make tables and jet desks and all that other stuff as we go.
And for purposes of clarification, in my mind, it maybe it's no, is this coming from the Career Foundation or from Career Foods directly?
The Bruce Career Foundation.
The foundation.
Yes, yeah. Bruce has been his foundation has been very generous. There's a lot of things our kids have gotten because of that. So we're very, very fortunate.
This is getting into a little off topic, but about that, in the referendum, might it be something we want to consider where a special area of designation for that, or is
I
that?
already have something on that.
Okay.
Too. So we'll we'll get that probably second half of the year. I'll let you know what we're doing with that. Good thinking though. I like that.
Okay, any questions? Really cool for all that money. Other donations?
No other donations. I know we got a couple donors choose there popped in. I got my email yesterday. So, but for the last month, no, I'm sure we'll have some more for next month. Though.
All right, and no comments from the public? And referendum discussion.
Okay. Well, we have our friend Nate here to talk a little bit about the referendum. We have had some really big steps happen here in the last month. I'm excited because besides the staff this morning, you will be the second group to see the walkthrough that our Brave friends put together to see the new spaces. But before I steal all your thunder, Nate, you want to talk a little bit about the qualified bidding process and some of the things that we've gone through here in the last month?
Yeah, sounds good. So I want to say it was the end of June, we actually, put out a request for qualifications to general contractors. This went out publicly to statewide, and thankfully we got quite a bit of interest. I think, that process went through and asked for a statement of qualifications, potential project team, experience working with schools on a phased process. I believe you guys had reviewed the how much.
Oh, there you go.
Then maybe go from 8 to 100. Say, oh, I'm out, right, that just, it's too bad. But I guess my recommendation to the board would be that we let them make that decision and you don't make that decision for them. Because maybe something has come up from a work piece, they've acquired more work, whatever that might be, that's something we can't see, right? So, just something to be, cognizant of that. If I had to guess, in the hypothetical situation, you approved all 8, hopefully we would get 5 bids, just looking at a ratio side of things. I do think we have 4 to 5 really, companies that really do go after hard bid work like this, so I would hope that we'd at least get that many bids. Any questions on the 8 that's submitted, or any questions on this process?
And just to kind of clarify, you have no red flags with any of these 8. These are ones that you worked for in the past, worked
Right.
with in the past.
Yeah, no red flags on my end. I think all of them can do this, no questions asked.
So our recommendation would be to approve all 8. I think strategically, the more interested, the better it is for us. And, we can look at how these bids come back when they do, and have those decisions then. But right now, keeping as many interested as possible, I think is the strategic right thing to do.
Sounds good.
Okay. So this is an actionable item, so if somebody wants to make a motion.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Oh, I guess number 7.
Yeah, we'll go down to 7 and then
Because
kind
I
of
was
go
looking
thure.
at 6
Yeah,
going, what?
no, you're
Okay.
right, yeah,
I'll
let's
save
make
the
an
good
action
stuff
on
for the
that.
end.
Okay.
I'll
So,
make a motion that we accept all 8 contractors who put in their qualifications.
all right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Rainey, any other questions, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we'll go back up to 6, sorry
Okay.
about that, we spent there.
Well,
So,
can I
yeah,
just real
please.
quick? I mean, just as far as next steps go, I will then contact all 8 contractors in the next day or 2, alert them of their qualification awardings. At that point in time, we will give them the pre-bid walk date on that, so because that is something we are going to require as a mandatory piece for general contractors. It would be optional for other contractors, but required for general contractors. We feel it's important for them to walk the building, see what they're working on. And so a part of the next steps would be alerting them as well as giving them the pre-bid walk date. So there, we will look to get bids back before Thanksgiving.
gonna go fast now.
Yeah.
There we go. So it's kind of fun. I've asked the Bray team for this. We're here. Could you, for today, for our staff, give us a feel of what is this gonna look like? And the design team, you've been seeing the still pictures. Honestly, they look fantastic. So one of the things they've done for us, have put together a 3-minute walkthrough. And then, Lee, I'm gonna have you pause in a couple areas, because I'm gonna there's no volume, but I'm gonna just kind of narrate this a little bit.
No problem.
Just so you can kind of see. I love they even have our children in here animating. Some of them are behaving better than others, but it's kind of a fun little way to look at this. I'm hoping after today we'll put this out on the website and get this out for others to see. But so here you go. Go ahead, Lee. Why don't you go start for the first 30 seconds or so. As you can see, we'll have that single drive one way going through there, so that'll take care of a lot of the traffic issues that we have with drop off. That little kind of front welcome area, and then as we're walking into this, we'll be walking into our one office, so we're high school, middle school, and elementary office will all be in this one centralized district office here. So that'll be how you welcome yourself to Random Lake. As you go out, this is going to be our new lobby. as we look down here, if you push pause for a second, kind of some fun facts about this, that wood wall all the way to the back. We have a student that is doing a Eagle Scout project, that is going to recognize all the veterans that have ever graduated, from the school district Random Lake, in the different branches. So the Braid team has been working with that student, to put that together. And as you can see, just kind of that RL in the carpeting, giving our kids something to smile as they walk into the school. Where you are right now is the commons, the big doors down in the commons, walking in. What you're seeing right there in front of you are where those cubbies are and where the trophy cases are. If that helps you get a little oriented. Okay, so now it's gonna spin around and you'll see the multi-purpose room. Go ahead, Lee. And feel free to stop if you have any questions on any of this.
And the carpet isn't really black.
No, it's a darker blue, yeah. This,
Whatever, but
yeah. So this will be our multi-purpose room, which is big enough to really cover our lunches in 2 lunches, so we won't have to be eating at 10:40 anymore. And it will be equipped with basketball hoops that can be flexible, brought down. And we did decide as a core planning team to go with a very robust wood floor. After a lot of our different conversations and school visits. Lewisburg has one similar that was put up a few years ago and still looks fantastic. So it'll allow us to do things in there. And
Yeah, I
help
think in
us.
our tour process, we were able to really see kind of the options for a cafeteria, that really used also as a multi-purpose space for basketball. And felt that, I think the core planning team as a whole felt like this was the right solution.
Anything you guys want to add so far as we're kind of going through? As a core planning team, just interrupt anytime.
I think about the flooring, we covered a lot of people like with Mike Fever and concerned about how it would wear and what would be best to maintain, and I think we are satisfied that they're very satisfied with what we,
Yep.
with that flooring they're gonna have.
Lots of conversations, right? Okay, Lee, keep going. But what a fun space. Elementary will be, actually push pause for a second.
Oh, if I could just,
Yeah, yeah.
one thing we talked about, I don't know if we settled on it, are we gonna have the
Bleachers?
courts? No, with the type of courts that everybody, pickleball courts, are they gonna be, did we discuss that or not? I thought we
We'll
did.
have to put it on the agenda for next week.
Yeah, we did put it out there for pickleball, yes,
just-
yes.
think
There's a lot
that
of
sounds
demand
Yeah,
for that, so I thought they were part of the badminton and the pickleball.
Yep.
the same.
I think we are striping it that way, but I'll follow up.
Okay. Right, I just wanna bring that up.
yep. So we'll have indoor pickleball, we'll be one of the best around with that. This here where we're gonna be walking in is the auditorium door, so what you're seeing is just left of the door here. This is the new place for our Ramway Cafe. This will be a locked entrance, but it is a place that people can walk before school and grab coffee. And from here, you can hit play. You'll kind of see the redesign of the hallway over by the auditorium. So there'll be the tables and all that other good stuff. Push pause there for a second. So part of the design, right now where those pillars are, the hallway in the auditorium there is just from the end of the pillars down. The Braid team is opening that up, so the classroom is a little narrower but longer, but giving more room. I think one of the things when I come to LPI, and when I come to large performances, when people come out for intermission, that place is always pretty clogged. Now, it's gonna be opened up. It'll be a place where students can go into the Ramway Cafe. There'll be concessions in there. If, hopefully we can be open for that. We have kids that'll staff it. But as you look, you'll get to see a kind of a view down this hallway, and then you'll see a view coming down this hallway. So go ahead, Lee, you can hit play.
So that's the existing ramp there and the stairway, and then looking down towards where we are.
On the right will be the fitness center, which is the current library. And that's what this space is gonna look like right now. We're sitting in it right now. So push, oh, yep, this will be our new band room. You can keep going with band, and we're almost doubling the size of the band room to accompany all the students we have in band. And our choir room, which will be right over here, I think it's about 1.5 size for the choir. If you push pause right now, so now as you walk in and you take a right, what you're looking at with the windows right there is the current kitchen and the servatory, right? However you say it. And that room that you're looking at is actually going to be an elementary reading room, because our library is footprint. Remember, it's going to be a K-12 library. We wanted a place outside of the library piece where some of our older students may be studying, doing things that elementary classes can come in and read. So as our students come in and take a right and go to as our parents come in and take a right from the main entrance to go to the elementary or the high school, this is what they're going to be welcome with. Either this really cool room here, you can push play, or as they look off to the left, then they'll see what our new library looks like.
Really, these three spaces, I know we didn't talk about the next space quite yet, but really work together.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and talk a little bit about the garage doors and stuff, how they all work together.
Yeah, so, I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, that's
Right.
fine, it's good.
So, we had always identified the current cafeteria as the library space. That's what you're seeing here with some of the windows, a couple of smaller group rooms on the left, and the circulation desk in the middle. Obviously, there will be a lot of bookcases and other things populated to this over time. But then with the activity room or the resource room for the elementary kids, but there's also a room across the hall that would be also a spill out space for the library. So really, for about 60 feet, as you kind of turn that corner, you really have basically 3 rooms that can be functioned for library type spaces. And then the third room, which I think we might peek around the corner at,
A little bit, but not real much.
would be the potential home for a boardroom setup, but can be used during the day as well. So I apologize. It was like one of the garage doors just past it.
And what we did, which is, as we continue the struggle to find subs, that room to the right, when all those garage doors are open, we can have students go in there. It's a large room. That will be a place where if we don't have subs, students can go in there, work on their Schoology and do the things that they need to. We may have a sub that's in there watching them, or in those times that we need to, since we will have 2 staff in the IMC library, they can also assist better than we do right now, where we have kids come in the library, but then it sometimes gets in the way of actually having other classes. So,
Can I just touch on the carpeting and the design of why it's split like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had gone through lots of conversations about what to put in the corridors. I think that we landed on, kind of the professional feeling, the unifying feeling through a lot, especially the elementary middle school side, to put carpet in the corridors. Now, this carpet is not your average carpet. This isn't squares. This isn't stretched out carpet, that maybe are in some of the classrooms right now. This is a roll-on carpet, high traffic carpet. And the idea really is of the gray and the blue creating some visual interest, but then helping kind of guide pathways down the corridor as well. So getting close to that random lake blue and then a nice gray accent as well.
And as you see on the wall there, you see all the different gradients of blue. Each one of those blues represent a different area. So elementary is that lighter blue, that turquoisey blue is the middle school, and then the darker blue is the more mature high school color.
What it'll lead you to.
That's part of the,
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
part of the
Good
painting in the
example.
corridors is, helping students identify where they are in the building with some of that color intention.
They took that from the lake, like the depths of water. Where the deeper it is, the darker it is.
Actually, go back to
It was really
the,
neat when they presented, it was really
yeah,
cool.
if you could go back to the multi-purpose room a little bit farther, because there's a really good representation when you see there, that, as you see the different colors in the lake on that right wall, those are, they brought that from the lake, being Random Lake, and kind of really have a really cool narrative with how
Like
this
the
is
rhymes, there's the Rams climbing the mountains, like, this is the one spot that has the mountains per se, and then everything else has a lot of the, kind of layers of the water. So, yeah, if you were to go here, you can especially see kind of that tiered piece again. I think it's gonna really make Random Lake pop.
Any thoughts?
Does look impressive.
Very nice. Very nice.
We showed the staff today, I think everybody, I mean, if you look at it, there's not gonna be an area really that hasn't been touched, it is gonna transform, and my message today is, as our staff have been working so hard academically, and we're seeing all the progress that we're doing as a district on the classroom side, to now pair that with what we're doing facilities is something that, honestly, today was, I said to staff, I'm like, I usually don't sleep very well the night before today because of nerves and just making sure it goes well. It's the best I slept, just knowing that the path that we're on, there's some pretty cool things gonna happen in the next 18 to 24 months, so we're hoping to get this out on the website and some of the other things, but we wanted to make sure internally we got to see it first and go from there, so thank you to Rini and Chuck. There's been a lot of hours of travel and visits and discussions and discourse at times, so it's been fun, but making the sausage, I think we're gonna have something pretty tasty when it's done.
Well, that's great. Yeah, very exciting.
Again, I have to say, like, to Bray, it's been great working with them. Their ideas and the way they present things has been excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nate. You can get out of here. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
We look forward to hearing when, I forget, what's the pre-bid walkthrough? Is that the next board meeting? Did we do that on purpose or did?
I believe it is, no, it would be the October board meeting.
Okay.
So, you will see plenty of cars, eventually still in the parking lot as you enter that evening. So that'll be an after-school, there will be, what we hope is many contractors piling into the auditorium for, getting their chance to pop their head in here before they bid. So,
So from 3:30 to 5, they'll be here before the board meeting.
Gary has a question.
I wrote down 7 names, but I missed the 8th one, so before you leave, so I wrote down C.G. Schmidt, Hunzinger, Joseph Schmidt, J.C. Cullen, Scherer, C.D. Smith, and Myron.
VJS,
BJS?
yes,
Okay,
was the one that I had missed as well.
okay,
And then it's J.P. Cullen, if you wanna.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night, all.
Thank you.
Here.
Alrighty. Anything else? No?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
There was something about evacuation plan for.
Oh, that's right, yes. So, thank you for that. Yeah, I actually forgot about that. We're so excited about the video. Just so we know, I was hoping to have, some documents. We are outside of the referendum. There are some things that didn't get completed during the last referendum. Had to do a lot around the storm sewer and getting water off of our campus. So, we took some money, this last year and put it into a Fund 46, which allows us to not take any hits on any of our school revenue, and lets us do towards maintenance. So with what we put into our fund balance, we're gonna use that for a new storm sewer plan that's going to take the water from the west side and bring it up towards Random Lake Road, a little farther north. We are hoping to get that out to bid here in the next 2 months, and then have it completed before spring, before we start breaking ground here. Bray's been fantastic, helped us. We are working with Kapoor. They're doing the design. They scoped I mean, we're an old building. There's a place where water from the west side runs underneath our school. And that's pretty common, right? That's how schools work. Not with this. All the water will be going to the north. And we know we always have water issues, but I feel like we're doing some things with this, with what we did in last year's budget to be able to pay to fix some of those things that, weren't quite able to get done last time. So, I'll keep you updated on that. We don't have the plan quite done, but it'll be something that we'll be doing here in the near future. So, just another kind of exciting thing that we're doing, to make sure that the investment we're putting in is going to last for many, many years.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, now you can go.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. And thank you, Rini, for catching that.
And our building reports now.
Yes.
Principals are still out.
Principals are, so today was our in-service, and we did something a little different with our in-service. We usually did our back-to-school social on Thursday. We would have our meeting, and then we'd go, and then we'd have everybody get together, have families. And Thursdays weren't good because everybody wanted to leave for the weekend and some other things. So we did something a little bit different, and I don't know if I have this, I'll talk about it now. Our in-service today was, we did some training, we did our welcome back, staff got to see this, we talk about our mission and our vision. But then starting at noon, we did an amazing race. And one of the things we wanted to do is, how do we share the excitement of the blue ribbon recognition? And how do we get some of our staff out in the community that some haven't been in these places? So the Chamber of Commerce and along with some very generous individuals gave us $2,100, and we put 7 groups on buses, gave them each $300, and they went out and they had to go to the library and do a challenge. They had to go to Globe Lanes and do a challenge. I can say it now. We had a hidden challenge where they had to buy Jolly Good soda at Burmish's and show that. And they just went over and part of all of this, they had to get pictures, and I don't have them, they're out there. We have banners with the Random Lake Blue Ribbon Award that will be going out here on our flagpole here in the next week. They went around, took pictures with our community members. One group went in by Gary inside the Sounder and got a picture taken with them, and a bunch of them were outside the Sounder. There are a couple stories that were just fantastic. We gave them all kinds of flexibility, but it's just celebrate with our community and take a few hours to do it. We had one group that used their $300 and bought all kinds of cheese from the cheese store and donated it to the food pantry. Another group went to Burmish's and bought 80 cans of soda and took it over to Gables and handed it out to the residents there as they were playing bingo. Another group was ran into some community members and had pictures with them. Like, where do you get that kind of interaction where your staff is just out doing that kind of stuff? So they're over there. Bella Music is playing over at the Hilltop in Batavia. It's over now, but they're cleaning up and they're doing all that good stuff. So I said, you know what? You make sure everything goes there. I'll make sure the board meeting goes well. And that's what we have up there. As we look at it here, our pilot reading programs, a lot of that training's going on this week. There's all kinds of cool stuff around our PLC over the last summer. We have a scope and sequence on our writing right now. We had probably 14 staff members coming over the summer and agree with what does first grade writing look like, second grade writing, third grade writing. So all those things we're working more and more. I did want to say about the ice cream socials this Wednesday, of course, the hottest day. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's supposed to be the hottest day again. But we're inviting anyone in the community that wants to come in and have a table or a booth. We're not going to put them in the cafeteria like we did 2 years ago. We're going to keep them out in the hallways to walk around. Kim, do you want to add something? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yep. I like that idea. So this ice cream social, again, is sponsored by Tommy at the pizzeria. So we have I don't know how many gallons, just a truckload of ice cream that Tommy always makes special for us. So that will be going on Wednesday. The Coffee Trader, the new coffee shop in town, is going to be donating, I believe, lemonade to the group because they want to be part and get their name out. So there'll be all kinds of cool things that are happening there. And then the 4 Kids, our PTO, is doing a movie night after the ice cream social. So I believe it's after the ice cream social, and they also have a club. So all kinds of cool things where our staff are just more and more. So, it's strong classroom, strong culture, strong community connections. And what we do with our staff emphasis is we just keep rotating through the 3. So 2 years ago, it was around classrooms. Last year, we did strong school culture, where we did the boat regatta. We did some fun things around culture. This was getting out in the community. And I did a quick assessment. The last thing they had to do is give a presentation of all the pictures they took. And I always do this. I do this with kids. I do a fist of 5, like, how great was this? This means don't make me do it again, and this means that was awesome. 90% of the staff had 5, and I seen a couple 4s. I don't think I've seen any fists, so it means everybody had a good day. So tomorrow's gonna be harder mental work, but today I think we're all tired just from all the other physical stuff we did.
Great, sounds fun. We didn't have any committee meetings today, or since the last board meeting. And we have a request for the Disney 2023 trip for band and choir. I would assume administration approves.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Rini, is there a second? Chris, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is that gonna be anywhere around the time of the blue ribbon dealio?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's right before. So, or no, December 20th, it must be right after. Right? Is it December of 2023? So are they right after us?
What?
The Florida trip?
It's November. They
Oh.
go right before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah, they're right before Thanksgiving and we're after Thanksgiving, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Bad.
I know, it
Yeah.
misses by like a week. I know,
That would be fun.
So, Hale, you wanna talk from back there, or which is perfectly fine. If we didn't have enough things going on, we've had the same website provider for 5 years now, something like that, 4 or 5. It was time. They did a nice job, but their app wasn't doing the things we wanted to, and we're really trying to find a way to make our website a place that's more active and a place where our staff can get more involved. And a company called Apogee focuses 100% on schools, and they have things like Thrill Share, ways to continue sharing all the great things that are going on. So Haley and Kim have been going through this. This is about a year process, right? But I'm trying to think that we've been working on it. And I wanted Haley and Kim just to kind of talk a little bit about our new website that we'll be launching on September 1st or somewhere right around. So go ahead, Haley, anything you want to highlight for us?
So what's nice about this website is that the communication piece is built in with this service. We can post from their website, we can do alerts, notifications, we can do the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, live feed, news, all in one shot. A lot of the updates that we had to do before externally, we can now do on our own. So like just this banner itself, I can change that every day of the week if I wanted to. We have a video currently put in here, but we would like to definitely get. What am I saying?
Hit shut down no
Yep.
or cancel. Yeah, there's not even no up there. See, don't ask me. Yeah. We got it. We saved it.
It would, it's nice that we will be able to on this website all on our own. We'll be able to have people like The counselors, they'll have, permissions to, modify their pages. So in doing this, it was nice to be able to go through our website and try to make it more user friendly. We have these buttons down at the bottom, and those can change depending on what's going on. Like, referendum, we want that front and center right now and on our webpage. Contact us. We're making a push for our alumni, so we want to get those links right up there, so when you click on something, they'll be able to go right to that information. And then our other main menu has some buttons across the top. Some of those things like contacting our staff. There's a dining menu, which is really exciting. And, our food service can actually put in our menu options. And so they're all right there for families to be able to look at that any time of the day. And then if they have changes, they can make those live changes. And then we have our other menu options here, and we are trying to make that as user-friendly as possible with our main headings, with the athletics. We've got our different levels, elementary, middle, and high school. Staff links, student links. So my goal is to get this organized and make it user friendly. And I was trying to think of those things that, parents or community members contact us on the Facebook page and say, hey, where's this? Where's this? So, like the calendar, that's gotta be right there because people are always asking what day is into. And then I'm excited to get some more content up there, add some more pictures into the website, and update all that information that we want to put in there. Right now, we're almost there. We just have a little bit of content to migrate over from our old website, but we are hopefully going to have it all set to go. And you can already get the app. If you have iPhone on Google Play or on the Apple Store, you can get Random Lake Schools, and the app is all set to go. And that has the dining menu, the calendar, and the news feed. So it's a pretty nice, friendly app to get onto.
So Haley and Kim have taken the lion's share, have done a wonderful job of cleaning it up. We had some pages in there that nobody has touched for years. I like the new look. I think it's always important. This is our most forward facing. When somebody's gonna look at a district, what are they gonna do? They're gonna look at your website first, right? So I can't thank both of them enough for all the work that they put into it. These new pictures, these are fresh. We do wanna this can embed a whole video, so it can be, more of a movie. We'll be working on that, but, for right now, we're pretty proud of what it looks like.
Looks great.
Yeah, it really does. That's a great picture right there.
Nice job.
I put it on my phone as they were doing your set for me, so it took about less than a minute.
Oh.
Oh, great. The app, you mean? Great.
Perfect. Any questions on our website?
No, I think that looks fantastic.
No, thank you. It looks great.
I just have like one,
Okay.
like how open is, and I don't wanna be this person, but it seems like we've had some things over the years where we got burned. How open is it for people to be putting stuff on it? Is there gonna be some, like,
Yeah, there are specific page permissions, and then everybody can be moderated. So if somebody makes an edit, it can all come through me or it can come through him or administrator. So nobody can change anything without us.
okay,
And it can be pretty tight to, but Amy Roberts right now can change the dining. So we can definitely cater that to the needs of people.
And that's the piece we really like about it, is if we can, Haley does a fantastic job with our Facebook and all of our social media and all the things that we're doing, but she's always making all the content. If we can start having somebody in a classroom take a picture and make the content, they can post it, Haley can okay it. So trying to find a way to make it more vibrant, more of a, a place where people can go. Facebook is already there, but we know Facebook is there's different elements to the different social media sites. we want our Facebook page to kind of have that same fresh content. So, it takes a little bit of horsepower to get here, but I think it's gonna be great.
Is there a big difference in cost in all this?
Yeah, you get what you pay for, you know, so, there's other pieces of this that, will help with communicating out to our parents and things that, we're kind of exploring as we keep rolling this out. So, a website like this is a hippopotamus sandwich, we're just taking a bite at a time, and launching the website is the first big, bite of it that we're getting done.
Is it an annual subscription?
Yeah. There was a big chunk to move everything over, cause it's
Oh.
just a lot of work, and then there's an annual. And it's not crazy expensive, but by the time you do an app and the website and all that other stuff, it was, it was, I think the old one was around 4,000, Lee,
Yeah,
right? And this one's about 8,000, so,
yeah, it's about 4,600, I think, a year. The old one was, because they had an app as well and everything, but it's just, I think it's a little more, but it's still.
it didn't seem crazy, and, you know, to go with, especially with the mechanisms it gave us, so.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, we have a contract for CISA 7 to continue, services. Is there a motion to approve? Chris, is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, any questions, discussion?
I just wondered, could you remind me of the Pride Week contract with the seven for these
Yep.
services?
So CISA 7 is, with this contract, there's a certain amount every district has to pay. The contract that we have is 10 in-service days where their staff will give us the professional knowledge on things that we need. So right now we have a group that's working with positive behavior. We have somebody comes down, they train. Now here's the different cost. The thing it's also like as you look at orientation and mobility, visually impaired services. We can hire people through them that are just 1%, 1.3%. If we had to hire a visually impaired for our one student, it would eat up that whole 24,000 there. So CISA does a very nice job of, for districts our size, giving us what we need, and making it work from there. The other contract, a big chunk of this is CISA 10. Up until, and this was a conversation with Mike Lefevre and I about 3-4 years ago. Mike's like, you know what, there's a lot of things going on in this building that I can't keep up with all of those legal things that happen. So CISA 10 has the environmental health and safety people, they come to us 4 times a year. When they came through, they went through, and we didn't know what chemicals we had in our district. They came through, got rid of the chemicals we needed to, made sure that we had the right labels on the chemicals we had. And then this year, we had them, which Nate's not here, I wish he was. CISA 10 does a lot of asbestos testing. So when we had CISA 10 look at asbestos, they gave us a quote that honestly, our architects are like, is this everything? Because this is about half of what we usually see across. So our relationship with them allowed us to save probably $15,000 by doing that. So the CISA stands for Cooperative Education Service Agency. There are 10 CISAs or 12 CISAs in the state of Wisconsin. Their job is to disseminate information from DPI, and then also help districts work collaboratively together, and that's what we get for it. It's a chunk, but what we get for it, I think we do find the savings, and but no, it's a good question.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Student handbooks. Is there a motion to approve?
So,
Chuck, is there a second? Chris, any questions or discussion?
So is this the first year that we combined high school, and middle school?
Yeah, so since now we have, a secretary or our assistant is a high school, middle school assistant, and our administrator is a high school, middle school, we thought it just, since it's the same person, bring them together and go that way. So, took some time to merge, everything should be the same. We took out any of the duplicated, anything that was duplicated, and went from there. So, I'm not sure how many, I didn't get a chance to really dig into it, but that was one of the reasons they merged them.
Because it went from 32 pages to 15 pages. I was trying, but I don't know if that was a lot of changes of font. There was some duplication, but it just seemed like a big change. One thing I did notice, it has for the Title IX coordinator, it has Mrs. Mountain on there.
Yep,
But I didn't see in her agreement that she was doing Title IX. So I just didn't know if that was something that was being added to her services or if that was.
it's something we left, is one of those things she did before. Honestly, I'll probably have to see if it's something we have to do. We haven't had any of that. We usually, the farther away we get that person, the better, so having somebody that's away from the leadership is a nice way to do it. So, yeah, that'll be something I'll probably have to talk to her about with that. And what we'll probably do is pay, hourly for anything that would come up with that. Kind of go from there. So,
So that was part of the agreement. And then I just noticed 2 typos.
okay,
So there was one on the first paragraph, last sentence. Students will enter the building either through the cafeteria doors.
what page?
Just the first page. Is that it?
It's right on the screen, the first.
Oh.
Yeah, the last sentence of the first paragraph. Is that it? It doesn't really make sense.
Probably should have said through.
Okay. And then just on page 20, I'm sorry, this is on the elementary school one. Oh, I guess that's in it too. It, contact procedures for information. So, it just has a spelling typo, yeah. Oh, wait, that's page 24. Oh, elementary. Yeah.
I'll make a note to fix
I- The fact that I noticed that was miraculous because I'm not a good speller, but it did jump out, so I figured we wanted to correct that.
Perfect.
All right, any other questions or discussion corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our official newspaper designation. Anyone that want to make that motion? All right, Matt, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Chuck? If Gary will have us? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, thank you for taking care of it.
All right, the policy 8800, the Neola revisions.
So, we left the last board meeting looking for some clarification. And with this clarification, there is the conversation regarding defeating policy 8800. If you want to take, why don't we make sure everybody had time to read it? Why don't you take a minute here to read through. Kim reached out to Richard, who is our policy Sherpa, to kind of see what our options were. So why don't we take a minute to read it? And then we have this on here right now as possible action. We can go a couple routes from here, but let's read it and then we'll go from there. as you're finishing up reading, I felt like in the last board meeting, when we get down to the last paragraph, so when we look at this part right here, this document, that last piece that was for discussion, it says students are not prohibited by this policy or any guideline, promulgated, but elongated pursuant to this policy from engaging in the free individual and voluntary exercise of expression of the student's religious beliefs. However, such exercise of expression may be limited to lunch periods or non-instructional time periods when students are free to associate or on an individual basis in a manner that does not disrupt the educational process. And I think some of the discussion was, should we give that same freedom of speech to our staff? And, you know, as I kind of reflected on the conversation from last month, this policy is threading the needle to try to make sure that staff, we don't want to have staff to have freedom of speech in the classroom in a way that would go against our policies. Students always have freedom of speech, and unless anything that they're saying is disruptive to school or threatening in nature, students have a larger right of freedom of speech than our staff do. And if you go back to what had this conversation, it was about a football coach that kneeled and prayed after a game. And at that time, that district was actually terminated him because he was showing religious beliefs when they thought he was a staff member. And what this policy is telling us is, if you look at the top part, staff have rights at certain times, but there's other times where they're representing us that they have to work within our policies. And the piece where I've had some time to reflect on is, this policy is about threading that needle of when staff have full freedom of speech and when they're actually representing us. That coach was representing that district when he was coaching, and he was representing that school when he went in the locker room. He was representing himself when he kneeled and knelt on the field to pray. And because the Supreme Court has made those nuances, this policy is written to help try to navigate schools through that. Does that make sense? And I mean, this is deep stuff. This is heavy stuff. I've actually appreciated another month to kind of reflect on it and see what it means to me and what it means for us. And you know, I really appreciate Kim's extra work and Richard helping us through this. So I did talk to Katie, and we had discussions, and Katie, you know, her first thing after we sent her what Richard said, and says, you know what, it's okay if I don't agree and others move past this and just say, we don't always have to have a 7-0 vote. It is the first thing she said. I did say that today we would discuss it and see what this meant to us. The next step could be to bring in a lawyer that's a non-Neola associated lawyer. It's going to cost us a few thousand, but they could come in. We'd have him read this policy or her read this policy as we see it, and then give his or her interpretation of this if it makes us feel more comfortable. So if we do that, Richard's thought was to rescind the current one because it actually goes against the Supreme Court. We have possible action. We could just approve it. It is for the second reading. Or we can wait and have somebody come in and have somebody that's not us talk about what this means to them. So we make sure that we're making the right choice. And as I reflected from the last meeting, policy is where you guys live, right? This is the piece that we want to make sure we're doing the right thing. So the discussion's kind of up to you. Like, what do we think we want to go from here? So we're looking for some guidance on what you got, what we all think as we look at this.
Anyone?
Before we get into that, I just had a question about the part that's in red but yellow highlighted, where it says if revisions are not adapted so that applicable policy, going down to the bottom, the back of the last line there, I don't understand that. When it says likewise, application of the concept does not require officials to apply the law as prescribed in the policy revisions.
It does require.
Oh, it does. The application of the concept does require officials. Maybe I wasn't reading that right. Does require officials. Okay. So we have to apply what we, as law, what we obviously incorporate here.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that cleared that up, I just wasn't reading that the right way, thank you. Can you comment on, was Katie okay with this? Or did it satisfy her concern?
You know, and we had a good conversation. I think she was still stuck on, the, First Amendment rights for staff. And feeling, I think I don't wanna speak for her, but I think she feels strongly about having staff having First Amendment rights. And, you know, this is a kind of a tricky place. I don't wanna take away anybody's First Amendment rights, but I also don't wanna have parents coming and telling me that so-and-so is using their First Amendment rights in a class, influencing that student in a way that they don't agree with, that is against our policies. So, I think it's about just that First Amendment right and where it stops, where it keeps going. And I think Richard's apprehension of this is, that's what the Supreme Court is really wrestling with, is when do you have that First Amendment right and when do you not have it? And especially in public schools, we know there's some topics that we don't want adults talking to kids about, you know what I mean? So that's what is the grapple here.
So this could go like the complete opposite way of what Katie is trying to protect, right? She's trying to protect them to be able to, you know, talk about their religion while they could be talking about things that we obviously do not want.
Right.
So, we definitely want to protect against that.
And there's other policy that talks about, you know, what we should talk about, what we shouldn't talk about. There's a lot of other policies that if we, you know, because when we get down to this bottom paragraph, it says students are not prohibited. Her thoughts and her ideology is students and staff should not be prohibited. No, this policy is saying, no, staff have these rights at these times, but students have more rights than staff when it comes to First Amendment speech, because we're not paying students to be here. Our staff are being paid to be here.
If I understand this, I'm trying to explain to you, I understand when the decision was first made and what this is trying to do with threading the needle is, it's basically saying, as an employee, your choice is to be an employee here, but subject to being an employee here, you have to follow our rules. And our rules say that you cannot preach there. It's simply stated, that's how I understand it. Is that what you get?
Yeah, so it's that, but then it also goes and threads a needle by, when you're at lunchtime, you get your freedom of speech because you're not an employee, or when you're walking from the sideline to the locker room, you're not an employee, so you can do this. So it's trying to clarify when you're an employee, when you're not, in these times that are not easy to define.
That's what it doesn't really do is, do we have some policy that says, when are you an employee and when are you acting as, or what we used to call under the color of the law, when are you acting, or are you being engaged as an employee, and what time throughout your 8-hour day are you not being engaged as an employee? Or are you, because in my thought, you're here for 8 hours or whatever that time period is, you're engaged as an employee the whole time. And I know as an employer, you know, you expect your employees to follow your policies, whatever, during that entire period. If you're on lunch break, are you not now an employee of the district? To me, you are during that whole period. And do we have to be more specific about this or not?
And that's like, if you get down into this green area, that's what's really the threading of the needle of when the staff is a staff member and when the staff isn't a staff member. So,
I didn't get that it was that specific though.
yeah, and the thing
Well,
is,
this where it says could be reasonably construed
yeah, so,
as an endorsement? I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, I don't know, I guess I'm concerned if you get two, this is when and this is when. you know, there should be some interpretation there.
Right,
You know,
I agree.
You know, that gives us a little more leeway too. Is, you know,
Just like the bit about, if it doesn't disrupt others, that gives us leeway as a district about what is causing disruption. Well, that's our interpretation, that's somebody else's interpretation,
right,
and fits into our policy.
And there is actually a Supreme Court ruling on what is disruption and what's not. It's Pinker versus some district, where it actually, you have to show that there's disruption. Just because somebody wears a shirt that says "Go Brandon," doesn't necessarily mean there's disruption in the school. But if there becomes a physical altercation, or students are arguing and things like that, that raises to the level. But just because somebody's wearing a political shirt and they're just walking the halls, doesn't. So there's even Supreme Court rulings on when you can and when you can't. Because we had, you know, some staff who were like, "Go Brandon" was a pretty popular sweater here this last year. And it didn't cause any disruption, so it didn't meet the level of Pinkers. It's a Pinker, it's some pink somebody. So, but we, like, you know, those are the things that we're versed on making sure, because something like that, we will have our friends from Will saying, you know what, this didn't meet this level. So this is really, I can see how Neola's nervous about any kind of change, because this is really where some of those battle lines are in public schools. And, you know, I think we do a pretty good job of building relationships and not having these things become an issue. But yeah,
I think that this is countrywide, right? Like this is applied in some random way, you know, to think that, you know, we would want to fight this. I don't see the value in that. And I believe that any issue that would come up can, you know, be interpreted any way. So it could be an issue, like, so this is just trying to cover us, where nothing is gonna cover you if the wrong topic comes up. Right. It's gonna have to go higher.
Having read this now for the second or third time, I fully supported and endorsed Katie's idea of trying to get this clear, but having read this, I guess I'm okay with it the way it is now, and I think it's time to move on, and that's, like you just said, Chris, you're never gonna cover it all, and it's as good as we're gonna get for now. If we still have some leeway or discretion, that's what I really wanna see.
and I have a feeling as we keep updating policies and keep going, the 70+ lawyers that keep throwing this stuff at us are going to tweak this as other cases come up. Other school districts have some things. So the nice thing with this is we get the experience of what are happening in other places, and hopefully we don't make the news on this stuff. And we keep making sure this becomes more and more clear.
so was that a motion, Chuck,
I guess it is a motion
to approve?
to approve.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chris, any
Is that, Kim,
further,
is that everything we needed for that then? Okay.
all right, any further, questions or discussion that we want to have on this? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you guys very much for putting in that extra time, Kim, with Richard, and explaining this better or more in depth, giving us more time.
Yeah, and I, you know, and as a board, we, you know, policy is where we live. So if we need time to digest, and I was telling Gino, one of the great things about Neola is I feel like we've never been as up to date on our policies and with current events. But sometimes I do feel they do push things in a way that, well, here's the new thing, here's the new thing. So anytime we need to just say pause, we need to look at it. That's what we pay them for. That's what Richard gets paid for to do it. And this is a great way to be like, okay, I get it. Because sometimes it's some heavy stuff. So thank you for all your discussion on this. It was good.
All right, no staff resignations this month?
Nope.
No new support staff? New salaried staff, bus drivers, Mark Hall and Paul Ten?
Yes, so two just kind of a little side story here. I know it's getting later. I apologize, but about 8 months ago, I put the story out. The way with the Wisconsin retirement system works is it goes off your top 3 last years. So I said to our staff, become a bus driver. On top of the $22,000 you make the 3 years, the percentage of that you get in your retirement, if you retire for 30 years, it actually equates to over $300,000 in retirement that you can make by knowing how WRS works. So that little math problem helped Paul and Mark in their last 3 to 4 years be like, oh, I'm going to be a bus driver. So they will have morning and afternoon routes. We're adjusting their schedule a little bit, but how cool to have our teachers now driving bus helping do this. And it doesn't cost us anymore. It has nothing to do more for the taxpayers. Just the way the Wisconsin retirement system works, by doing this for them is a pretty fruitful thing. So another reason why bringing busing into the schools would give us that kind of advantage, because it helps with their salary for the last 3 years.
So, is part of their salary, or they're still getting the hourly bus driver rate?
So they get it's a bus driver rate, but it'll be added to their total top 3 years. And because they'll have 30 years, the way the retirement system works in Wisconsin is you get about 50% of your top 3 years. So if you make an extra $20,000 in your last 3 years, that's an extra $10,000 a year. So if if you're lucky enough to retire for 30 years, that's $300,000 on top of the 60 that you made when you do that. So makes 3 years of driving bus, makes sense.
Is there any concern that someone might think they're double dipping, in other words, that their bus driving time is overlapping into their school teaching time, or their other?
I don't know, if you watch any newscast right now and you see how much districts are struggling to get bus drivers and parents that don't have their kids getting picked up because they don't. This, for us, I mean, I would say, driving a bus is not driving a day in the park, right? There's 60 kids behind you, and I've seen the videos. I have the microphones in the buses. They're doing some stuff. So these guys are earning their piece. Are there some that may think that? Of course. I mean, that's just the world we live in. But I would ask them then, hey, why don't you get your CDL and come drive for us?
Quick note to, as long as we're talking buses, do we have our electric bus yet or not?
The pad is ready. The charger is getting installed here in the near future. And I believe the bus is being built right about now. So we're about 2 months out from getting it. And when we get it, we'll go take a ride with it or something like that. So we'll make that a board meeting. How's that sound?
I wasn't sure where we were at.
You want to drive it? Yeah. We'll drive around the back parking lot. There you go.
Everybody gets a lap.
Yeah, everybody gets up. There you go.
Okay, we have co-curricular coaches and advisors notification. Looks pretty standard there, nothing too crazy. And no volunteers yet, so we're taking those. We want it.
We are.
And then we need to approve our 660301 agreement, the School to Work Opportunities Grant with Ozaki County School Districts. This will be our 15th year.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Matt, is there a second? Chris, any questions or discussion?
Is it changed from last year? Is it pretty much the same row?
Yeah, it's the same as it is. The only difference is we have some students that work down in Ozaki County. We have some that stay in Sheboygan County and Washington County. So we actually have more opportunity. We had 40-some kids apply, and I think we'll be well over 23 to almost 30 that actually will get placements that work in their schedule. So it's fantastic to watch our kids get these opportunities.
Anyone else? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have another 660301 intergovernmental agreement between Kiel Area School District and Random Lake for the virtual charter school. Is this our second year?
Is our second year, yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to continue?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, any questions or discussion?
So Gary asked a question on this, and in this agreement, we use extremely sparingly. what this agreement allows us to do is if we have a student because of medical needs or something like this, they can go get educated by Kiel has a virtual school. They still count on our books as enrolled by us, and then we give them the cost to educate them there. So it's a very beneficial way to do this. We don't have a virtual option unless there's a medical or we had a legal reason why we did this last year. For a student with a restraining order, it was easier just to do this while they went through their legal process. So this isn't a charter school or anything that we're starting. This gives us a lever to use in case we need to use it.
So we won't have anyone.
We don't have anyone starting. We have nobody that's starting with it, but you just never know what's going to happen, and it gives us another tool in our toolbox.
We pay by usage or?
Yeah. So, and then it goes. We have a student that went on for a few weeks, so then they just charge us for what that was. I think altogether, I think we probably used it 9 weeks last year for a couple students in a couple different situations. So.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Do we already have that?
We did.
Chuck, did we do that?
We
Does it all
did?
go together?
Oh, all right. We already got one on the floor. Save that motion for the next one. All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and discussion on the commitment belief statement.
So I'm not even gonna talk much about this, I've talked too much tonight already. But I just like bringing this out that we talk about strong classroom, strong culture, and strong community connection. And we've taken the extra step to actually define what does a strong classroom mean to our students, what does a strong classroom mean to our staff, and what does it mean to our community. So I just wanted you to know, it's great our values are there, but a year and a half, 2 years ago, we actually took the extra step to define it. And this year, as we talk about strong connections to community, our staff, we read what does strong connections to our community mean to our students, to our staff, and our community. And those are the things that we did today with the Amazing Race, and we'll do all again this year. So I just like bringing this in front of us at the beginning of the school year. We are a mission-driven organization, and we get all the way down to the nuances so we know what this all means. And that's really, I just like doing that. The staff roll their eyes half the time because I'm talking mission and vision today as part of the kickoff, because that's what we are. And I thought it was important to bring that in front of you guys too.
Alrighty. Anybody got any comments? Good to go?
Good idea.
All right, and informational items.
I talked about the school kickoff. I talked about the ice cream social, fall sports update. Right now, fall sports are kicked off. We have good numbers in cross country. Football, we did some recruiting and we're in the 20s, and the co-op for soccer has a total of 24, right? 28, so that's been going very well. So all our sports are moving forward, and no, it's been good. So I feel like the co-op, and Rini, any thoughts on the co-op having a soccer?
Yeah, he's really positive about this season. Sounds like both schools, they're working well together. Really, he'll talk about the players on the field, and I'll ask, are they Ozaki or Random? And, they're all playing still.
Right.
And they're excited.
The first time we'll have a varsity and a JV. Truly, so talk about that as we go forward. We'll be doing the same thing in spring with the girls soccer. So
The coaches are getting along okay?
It's been really positive from what I hear.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's their first game.
anything as football, anything you want to do for updates with football, since we have a coach on the board here? Volunteer, he doesn't get paid.
We're working hard, trying to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we went on to our first game. We had some errors, but I thought overall we played pretty well, given our numbers. So I think we're just trying to fight a good fight and make sure we can make it through each game and make it through our entire season. So, but a lot of good talent out there. Some young guys that are stepping up to the plate, kind of being thrown into the fire, but they performed really well during the first game. So we got a game this Thursday night due to officiating shortage. So it'll be parents' night. So if you get a chance to come out and support
Run
the
out
team,
Thursday
that'd be
night.
great.
First game, 3 touchdowns, what's up?
Hey, we went like almost 6 weeks without that many touchdowns for a few years ago. So
What's
yeah,
the breakdown of junior, freshman, senior? What, can you give that about?
Oh, boy, you're really gonna challenge me here, but, we got 8 seniors. Man alive. Chuck put me on the spot.
Sorry, you don't have to go, it's okay.
I think we have,
Maybe how many freshmen?
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
freshmen.
2 freshmen,
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's-
which,
freshmen.
was, one's on the line.
Yep, both are on the line. Handful of sophomores, handful of juniors, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, I came like this, so I was a little bit sweated up because I'm running, scout offense and defense and stuff like that, but, it's good to get out there and interact with the guys and all that good stuff, so. Yeah,
All right, well, keep us updated.
will do.
Anything else on the?
nope. I talked too much already, so that's good.
Oh, who's gonna talk during this closed session?
I'll talk then too.
Okay, is there a motion to go into closed session as permitted under Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 19, Section 1985, 1F, to discuss related referendum business?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
Second.
Chris?
Chris,
Okay, this requires a roll call vote. Matt?
yes.
I vote yes. Chris? Chuck?
Yes.
Rainey? All right, we are in closed session. Thank you for coming.
We will give